welcome back. Today we have a cozy little tea time and soft-spoken chat for you. And this is something that I want to start doing regularly here on my channel, is to include some casual little talks about different topics related to mental health and some of the things that have been helpful to me in my own journey with overcoming anxiety, which is something I am still working on every single day. I am certainly not at some final destination completion point on that journey. It is always a work in progress. And for a time, I was doing more frequent videos here talking about mental health and about Justin's journey after his manic episode and the way that I was coping with my feelings around that and my own mental health things. And I haven't been doing that as much recently because fortunately Justin is doing really, really well, so well. And he and I are both in a pretty balanced and stable place overall, but that doesn't mean that I'm not still working on things every day, working with myself, working with my old stories, with old patterns and ways that I have of habitually reacting to things that trigger me. I'm always working to be in a state of awareness. I'm always trying to be patient with myself and give myself self-compassion and gentleness as I go through the day-to-day challenges of being a human being, which we all face. And I was just thinking recently that to me, that is one of the things that is important to me about having the space and having this opportunity to connect with all of you, is to have a space for these kinds of conversations and to talk about things that maybe don't get talked about as much as they could be, and allow you an opportunity to share your experiences and your perspectives and your ideas and your strategies that you use in your day-to-day life in the comments if you want to. And just a chance for me to be as real and vulnerable as I can be with you. That is always one of my goals with my channel, is to really be real and for you to know that I'm not, some mechanical person. I don't have everything all figured out. I'm not somebody who's perfectly happy and perfectly with it and perfectly together all the time. I'm a very human, and I just want to open up space here to talk about things with you. So this is very open-ended, as you can see. I've just sat down here and opened up my heart like I so often do, and I think I'm opening up my tummy too. My tummy is rumbling a little bit. I just had a really lovely lunch, so if I make some digestion sounds, forgive me for that. I didn't even put my headphones in or anything for this, since I'm just soft speaking and I just want to feel just really casual and natural and just speak to you as a friend, because I'm so grateful that we have that kind of space here where we can do that. And so before I get into today's topic, I just wanted to say, if there are any particular topics that you would like me to ramble about, if there are any questions you would like to ask me, anything, I mean, I don't really want to say I would give advice because I don't know that I have any more answers than anyone else does for these sorts of things, but I'd be happy to give my perspective on things that have helped me or different concepts that maybe have given me new insights about different elements of my mental health. And just please let me know what you might like to see in this sort of casual talking about feelings, talking about what it means to be a human and to give ourselves care and love and get through each day as best we can. So I did make some tea. I have some spearmint tea here. So if you would like to make a cup of tea or hot chocolate or coffee, or if it's warm weather when you're listening to this, if you just like to have a cool glass of water nearby or a snack or something, or if you just want to get cozy down with a blanket or cozied up in your bed and listen to this, you're welcome to listen to my words, or you're welcome to just use the sound of my voice to help you relax. So I will be, talking about some things, some somewhat challenging feelings and that sort of thing in this video, in these kinds of videos. I don't intend for it to be anything upsetting or triggering to anyone, but please always take care of yourself. And if any of these topics start to feel like something that you're just not up for right now, please just step away and come back later if you'd like, or choose another video that, might be more what you're looking for today. So I'm going to take a sip of my tea, and I'm not even going to edit out my drinking sounds, which I sometimes feel self-conscious about. But this is all about truth and vulnerability this time around especially. So get cozy, and then we'll start our chat. Okay, so the topic that I wanted to talk to you about today, and I did write just a few notes to get myself organized before I sat down, but I'm not even really going to look at that. I really want to be spontaneous in sharing with you, is the concept that it's okay to be misunderstood. And this is a biggie for me. This is something that it has taken me a long time to try to really feel in my body and in my mind, to let it be true for me and to integrate it into the way that I live my life. And so I will just start out by saying that I am a person that throughout my whole life, I have always worried a lot about what other people think about me. I'm sure that this is a very common thing that a lot of you experience as well. I was always worried, even as a kid, that if I thought someone was mad at me, or if I thought someone had misunderstood something, if I thought someone was thinking something about me that was incorrect or was not the truth, that was always very upsetting to me. And I will say that the particular flavor of bullying that I experienced when I was a kid, I mean, I think we all experienced one or another kind of unkindness from our peers when we were young, even in the best of circumstances. I think that always happens. And for me, a lot of that took the form, I particularly remember when I was in middle school, like middle school age, took the form of other kids, the kids who were teasing me and that sort of thing, it taking the form of me feeling deliberately misunderstood, of other kids deliberately misunderstanding me, taking things that I said and twisting them around and trying to make it seem like I was saying something that I was not, or that I was intending something that I was not. And that really gave me a feeling of not feeling like I had steady ground underneath me, of feeling like I couldn't, that it wasn't safe to just fully express myself because someone else might twist around what I was saying and take my ideas off in some direction that I wasn't intending and make me feel bad about what I was trying to express, or make me feel like I was not able to really be my true self and express my true self. And so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that sort of thing. And I had good friends and supports in my life as well. But I do think it's important to recognize that I think we all have those things from when we were young, and the way that the social interactions we had when we were young that do stick with us. And so for me, that kind of compounded part of my personality that I had always had for as long as I can remember, of just really wanting my truth to be heard. I'm a very honest person. I'm sure you all have realized that about me. I really value honesty and straightforwardness. And so anytime I have felt in my life like my truth was being twisted or manipulated or turned into something that I didn't intend it to be, those have always been the most kind of upsetting experiences that have happened to me. And so for me, I think that as I got older, trying to protect myself from being misunderstood manifested itself in perfectionism and people-pleasing. So that I would always want to do my very best at everything, make sure that everything I did was just right and was done well and was done as well as it could be, so that no one could question it. And then the people-pleasing side of it was trying to figure out exactly what it was people needed from me or expected of me, and making sure I did that before they even knew what it was, making sure I exceeded people's expectations right out of the gate so that I would have the advantage and I could kind of control the narrative of what people thought of me. And I think for me, as an adult, and just in these last few years of being an adult, something that has come to me in my 40s is the realization that kind of people-pleasing, I think when you're engaging in that kind of protectiveness of yourself, I think I always tried to tell myself that was about other people, because, nothing is black or white. I am a very helpful person. I like to help people. I like to nurture other people. I like to help bring out the best in people. I like to help solve problems and puzzles. I like to improve systems and make things better. This is a part of who I am. And so I do have a very natural inclination to want to help and support people. This is why I do what I do here on my channel. But without boundaries and without the clear sense of self-confidence that allows you to feel at ease in your own self, without those things in place, then I think people-pleasing can become not really about the other people, but it becomes about yourself, and it becomes about trying to control what other people think of you and control other people's perceptions. And so in a way, it can actually turn into something that is kind of manipulative. And so that was a real light bulb moment for me. I think I first sort of realized it through reading some of Brene Brown's books. I really like her writings about perfectionism. Her book, The Gifts of Imperfection, was a really big help to me, and I still go back to that book a lot. And that's one of the things she talks about, is how people-pleasing and perfectionism is really a way of trying to control other people's perceptions. And of course, that's something that we can never, ever do. That is something that we are powerless to do. We cannot control what other people think, what other people do. The only thing that we can control is our own actions, our own reactions to things, our own ways of dealing with situations. And so one of the biggest things for me in soothing my anxiety and coming to a place of more peace in my life has been letting go of control. And that is a really scary thing to do, because when you're an anxious person, you want to control. You want to make sure that everything is safe and everything is okay, and you are prepared for every contingency, and you've got a plan, and you have orchestrated every little piece of the puzzle, and that you have control. And of course, that is an illusion. We can't ever really have control over external situations. We can do our best to prepare ourselves. We can be thoughtful. We can have appropriate safeguards and appropriate precautions in place to keep ourselves safe. We can set good boundaries, but we can't control what other people think. The other thing that I really wanted to share with you is that the whole reason, when I need something to hold, I'm going to pick up, I have a bloodstone crystal here on my desk, and I'm going to hold it in my hands because that helps me feel more grounded and helps me gather my thoughts. And it's nice to have something tactile sometimes. And I wanted to share this particular topic with you all. What got me thinking about it was something that happened, something that had been happening in regards to this channel. And I thought for a long time about whether I even wanted to share this, because I thought, do I even want to give this any airtime? But I decided that I did want to share this with you, because I always make such an effort to be really transparent with you, to be honest with you. And I mean, it's nothing terrible and dramatic. Don't worry. Don't get worried. But basically what I wanted to share with you is that back when I started making videos with Justin a couple of months ago and inviting him into some of my videos on this channel, of course that made me so happy to do. He is my partner in life in so many ways, and he's an ASMR lover, and we have supported each other in so many ways in life that it felt really, really good to bring him into this creative project with me, to bring him behind the camera and have him be part of videos with me. And, that first video that he and I did, my husband tries ASMR for the first time. I feel like the algorithm loves those kinds of videos of people trying something for the first time. And so that video skyrocketed for me by my standards of my channel. It's got many, 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 many views now. I think it's got over 50,000 views, which for my videos is ridiculous. It's way beyond any other video that I've ever done, and that makes me happy that so many people have enjoyed that video with Justin, and then the other two that we've done together since then, and the negative energy removal, and then reading to you about flowers, and I'm sure we'll have some more to come. But particularly on that first video, because it got so many more views than my videos usually do, it got quite a few comments, many, many, many comments, hundreds of comments. And the majority of those comments were so kind, so supportive, saying how people could really see the connection between Justin and me and what a great couple we are and how we were just great on screen together and, you know, all these really uplifting things. So many uplifting comments. But then I also got a handful of comments. I got a few comments, some of them kind of saying this in a nice way, and then some of them saying it in a not so nice way, of people basically being like, directed to me, basically being like, you needed to be quiet and let Justin do his thing, and why did you talk so much, and why did you keep interrupting him, and why didn't you just basically shut up and let him do the ASMR the way he wanted to, and things like that. And even just saying that to you right now, you can see, like, it makes me a little bit of emotional, and it makes like a sting of tears come to my eyes, because people were basically just like, you know, you basically like, why are you talking so much in that video? You need to, you know, give him a chance, and basically like, why are you being so pushy, and why are you being so overbearing of him, and things like that. And you will not find any of those comments on the video, because I actually ended up deleting those comments, because as you all know, I do my best to reply to every single comment. And with that video, it took me a while because there were a lot more than usual. And I don't always, my channel is actually big enough now that I actually don't always get to reply to every single comment, but I do read them and try to heart them, to like them at the least. And I do not use the AI generated replies to comments that are available to me. So that's a side note, but please know that when I reply to your comment, it is really me doing it in real time. It is not an auto-generated comment, which is something that I could use if I wanted to, but I don't. I mean, if I don't have the time to actually give you a real response, I'm not going to try to fake you out by giving you an AI response. But anyway, another sip of tea. With those comments that I got that were pretty harsh, a few of them were trying to do it in a kind and constructive way, but some of them were just really kind of mean. And for a while I was trying to figure out a way that I could reply to those comments and to just be like, oh, thanks for your input, I appreciate it, or, you know, just thanks, or whatever. But, and that was something that was bothering me, and is part of this theme that I didn't like it, that I was feeling misunderstood by those people. And I was like, how can I reply to this comment in a way that will make them see me differently? And I finally realized that there was no way that I could reply to those comments in a way that was either not fake and untrue, because if I said, thank you, I appreciate your comment, that would not be true, because I did not appreciate those comments. And I also didn't want to answer those comments. I didn't want to reply in a way where I was like defending myself or justifying myself to the person, because I didn't feel like I should have to do that. This is my space. This is my channel. I didn't feel like I should have to defend myself here. So ultimately, I deleted those comments. I mean, really, it was not more than a dozen comments in the hundreds of nice comments. And that's another thing. That's another mental health thing. That's another topic. One of these things that I think about in anxiety is that we all know is true, that you can get 100 pieces of positive feedback on something, but if you get one piece of snarky criticism, then that's what will stick with you. Justin and I often say, when something good happens or we receive a compliment, we will say, I'm going to positive feedback loop on this. and we do it consciously. We say, let's positive feedback loop on this. Let's say it over and over again. Let's talk about it a bunch of times. Let's repeat it, because those are the things that our brain naturally does with bad things or mistakes or criticisms. We play them over and over again, but we don't do that with good things usually. So I try to make an effort to do that. So I decided to delete those comments and not try to engage any further with those people. But the other piece of this was that I was really curious, and that's what I try when I have bad feelings. Instead of trying to push them away when I feel uncomfortable or I feel upset, instead of trying to push the feelings away, I try to get curious about them. And so I got really curious about this. I was like, why are these comments upsetting me so much? You know, because I've gotten criticism on my videos before. I mean, I have to say, I'm a really fortunate person that I've very rarely had anyone be mean to me on my channel, like really, like never really, up until these comments. I've had people tell me that they didn't like certain parts of my videos, you know, critiquing things that they, you know, didn't like, or things that they wished I had done differently. And those kinds of comments genuinely don't upset me, because even if someone says like, hey, I didn't like that trigger you did, or, you know, that didn't sound, I didn't like the way that sounded, or whatever, that doesn't really bother me, because they're not really criticizing me, they're criticizing the style of ASMR or the trigger or whatever. And, you know, I can take those things with a grain of salt. Sometimes there's something, you know, some useful information there, and if there's not, then I just let it go. But those kinds of comments didn't make me feel hurt the way these comments on the video with Justin did. And so I did some thinking about it. I kind of like let myself embody. I did some embodiment exercises where I let myself feel that yucky feeling, and I looked for where it was in my body. I followed it around. I tried to see what the reaction was that it was giving me. And what I realized was that those comments were upsetting me so much because those comments were making me feel like those people that made those comments were perceiving me as being unkind to Justin, or not doing right by him, or being not a good partner and not a considerate person to him. And that misperception really, really hurt me and really made me feel upset. And now granted, I mean, this is the thing. These people were strangers. These people don't know Justin and me at all. And of course I talked to Justin about this, and he was wonderful and was very supportive, and he and I talk through a lot of our emotional triggers and a lot of the things that, you know, when something does upset us, we talk about it. When something upsets one of us, we talk about it with the other person, and we, you know, try to figure out as much as we can where it came from and how we can change our way of thinking, and then we do our best to let it go. But that's the conclusion that I finally came to about it, is that these people obviously don't know Justin and me at all. They don't know our relationship. None of these people were long-time commenters. None of them were people that I feel like have been a part of this community for a long time and have seen the journey that Justin and I have been on together. These were all one-off comments from people who randomly saw this video because it showed up in their feed, because the algorithm liked it. You know, it was very, very random. And one of Justin's pieces of wisdom about it was, well, these people, the people who are making these comments, they're not making this comment about you and me. They are projecting something onto us from themselves. And I thought that was a useful thing to think about. Like, whoever was saying to me, like, you should just be quiet and let your husband talk, is probably somebody who doesn't feel heard in their own life, is probably somebody who has had other people speak over them and not let their voice be heard. You know what I mean? That when people make comments like that, they are projecting themselves onto you. It doesn't really have anything to do with you. It doesn't really have anything to do with me. And I guess the last part of this I wanted to say is the reason that it hurt me is because of everything that Justin and I have been through together. And it did show me that there probably is a part of me that is a little protective of Justin, and when he first came on the camera, first of all, this was the first video I'd ever done, besides, the random one with my mom, but like with another person in the frame. And so usually in a video, I'm only concerned about you, and I'm concerned about taking care of you and making sure you're okay. And when I do the videos with Justin, I have another person in the video with me who is the most important person in my life. So I'm wanting to make sure that you're okay, and I'm also wanting to make sure the space feels safe and good for him. And so in that first video, I probably was a little bit protective of Justin and wanting to make sure that, he felt like he had the guidance that he needed and that, I was taking care of him. And when I was processing my feelings about those comments, what came up for me was remembering that there was a time right after Justin's manic episode when he was first in recovery that I had to speak for him. There was a time that I was the one communicating with the doctors and with the therapists and with his workplace and with the medical leave people and the insurance people and like all the stuff that we had to communicate about his situation. I was the one that had to do that because Justin's cognition was severely impaired right after his episode. And there was a time when he could not put his thoughts together. He could not form a coherent sentence and talk to somebody about what he needed to talk to them about. And I had to do that for him for a time. And so I guess for me, there was this defensiveness that came up in me towards those comments of like, you people have no idea. You have no idea what Justin and I have been through together and what we have overcome. And you have no idea how I have taken care of this man and how we have worked together to overcome incredible obstacles. And of course those people don't know that. There's no reason that they should. They're random commenters on YouTube. And so this was just a real exercise for me in separating that and understanding I cannot control what these random people think of me, nor do I need to, because nothing that a random person on the internet says has any effect on who I really am, who Justin really is. Nothing that anyone can say or any misperception that anyone can have. And I am crying a little bit now. I'm going to have to wipe my nose. Pardon me one moment. No misperception that anyone can have, no way that I am misunderstood can take anything away from the truth. It cannot diminish the truth of who I am, and it cannot diminish the truth of my relationship with Justin and the fact that we are both incredibly supportive of each other and that we take care of each other. And no random outside opinion can have any effect on that. So that was what spurred me to talk about this whole topic of being misunderstood. And of course, I did share this with Justin and I was like, well, honey, how did you feel in that video? Like, did you feel like I was, overstepping or anything? And he was like, of course not. Like, we were just having fun. We hadn't planned anything out ahead of time for that video. We were just being spontaneous. We were, it's not like we had rehearsed it ahead of time. So we did kind of talk over each other a little bit. And, it wasn't some flawless, perfect masterpiece. My inner perfectionist allowed me to create an imperfect video with him, which I think is a beautiful piece of ASMR. Okay, I don't want to be too snotty. And I'm really proud of that video, and I'm really excited for continuing to have Justin with me in videos in this channel, on this channel in the future. And so I thought I might get a little bit emotional in sharing about this, but I just think this topic is really important. And so I don't have, I want to be clear that this video isn't leading up to me saying, and here is the secret of not caring what other people think about you, because I do not know that secret. If you know that secret, if you have come up with the secret formula for how to completely let go of what other people think of you, then let me know. And if you haven't come up with a complete formula, then just let me know what your strategies are. Because of course there are some strategies out there, like I've said, setting good boundaries about how we let people into our lives and making sure that we're taking care of ourselves so that we don't fall into bitterness and resentment. This isn't really a conversation about boundaries, but it's related. Another something that Brene Brown said once that really struck me was that you can only be generous with people once you've set boundaries. If you have no boundaries, then whatever you do is never going to feel like enough. So you can never even allow yourself to go above and beyond and be generous if you don't have a boundary, if you don't have that line of who you are and where you start and where other people begin. You have to have that established before you can then be generous to people. And that was something for me in my perfectionism and people pleasing that a few years ago I really found that I had fallen into resentment because I was doing so much to try to make sure that other people were always happy with me and that there was never any discord and that everything in everyone's lives, in my life, in my family, and my work, that everything was taken care of so well and so perfectly. And then I began to feel bitter and resentful when I was not receiving, how should I say it, when I felt like I was not receiving the appreciation that I thought I deserved for all of the stuff that I was doing, even though a lot of it was stuff that people had never asked me to do in the first place, or they didn't even realize the internal emotional expenditure that I was going through day to day, that what I was putting out energetically and how I was wearing myself down. People didn't even realize that, and then I would start to become resentful of all of this that I was doing, and I didn't feel reciprocated. And in a lot of instances, that wasn't even really fair to the people in my life because I wasn't having honest conversations about what my needs were. I wasn't asserting my needs. I was just worried about other people's needs. So that's a little side note about boundaries and about asserting my own needs in relationship to perfectionism, but kind of getting back to this idea of it being okay to be misunderstood. Once I was able to start to let go of that a little bit, that need to control what other people thought of me, then suddenly there was just so much more space and so much more freedom in my life just to be who I am and to accept that I might not be for everyone. And sometimes people are going to misunderstand me. Sometimes someone might interpret something in a way that I didn't intend and in a way that I couldn't have imagined. And people all have we all have our own lenses of how we see the world based on our own experiences. And so anything that I am expressing, there's me expressing it, And then there's another person receiving it and taking it in, and they have all this experience, all these layers of their own patterns, their own stories, that what they're receiving from me has to go through before it even reaches them. And that's all stuff that I don't have any control over. So all of that stuff might change. It might twist or cloud what it is that I was sending through to them. And this has just been a really big thing for me. And to all of you, maybe this is obvious. Maybe this is something that you have not struggled with as much as I have. But to just know that all I can do is be as honest and truthful and clear in my intentions as I can be, and then I just have to let that go. And how people perceive my intentions is up to them. And I know there's one of those kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like a words of wisdom thing that you hear people say sometimes. I don't know if this is a quotation that's originally attributed to a particular person, but sort of the maxim that what other people think of you is none of your business. And that's one of those things that is true, but it kind of makes you want to smack the person who says it because it's so hard. It is so hard to take in, but that is true. What other people think of you really is not your business. It's not your business to make other people see the truth of you. It can't be done. And all we can keep doing is being our true selves, being consistent in our own intentions, consistent with our own values. And that's another one of these things too that's been big for me, is really honing in on what my own values are, what my priorities are in life, and knowing that as long as I am staying true to those things, as long as I am answering to myself and I feel good about how I am living the life that is in line with my own priorities and my own values and my own vision for the kind of life I want to live, then that is my anchor. That is my compass for how I'm doing in life, not what someone else says or whatever someone else thinks. And for me, it's so often not even what someone else says about me, it's what I think someone might be thinking about me. It goes even beyond what people actually express to me. It's like, oh, maybe this person thinks this about me, or maybe this person, is unhappy with me. And there's just a lot of speculation there that I have had to cut through and release. And that's where embodiment practice comes in for me, because my head can spin and 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 spin all kinds of stories about what other people might be thinking, what other people, are going to do, what their perceptions are. And by getting into my body, I can get into my own vessel. I can be like, okay, this is where I have some control. This is my own perception of the world. Here I am looking out through my eyes, being within my five senses. This is what makes my world. This is what I can perceive. And by getting into my body, that helps me to say, okay, here I am in my space, and I'm going to be here and be present and be grounded and let go of all this speculation about what else might be happening out in the world or in someone else's perceptions that I can't control anyway. And we all know that other people aren't thinking about us as much as we think they might be, because they're busy going through all this rumination on their own account and thinking about themselves. And the people who do care about us are going to make that effort to make a true connection And if there is misunderstanding with someone we care about, we'll make the effort to come to a common ground, and we don't have to try to control that from this place of anxiety and this place of fear. So that was a lot. I'm really being very spontaneous in what I'm sharing here, so I'm going to take a sip of tea. So thank you. Thank you for listening to me. And I hope that something that I said in this video somewhere along the way was helpful to you, or made you feel seen or not alone, or resonated with you. That is my hope in sharing this kind of stuff here. And I think just, I don't know, in some sort of a wrap up to this, I have spent a lot of my life worrying about what other people thought of me, trying to control people's perceptions, trying to protect my tender heart from the harshness of others. And that's a piece of this too. I am a highly sensitive person, and I know many of you are. And being misunderstood hurts. Being misunderstood hurts. And there's no getting around that. I wouldn't want to make myself a hardened person that didn't have any feelings and so didn't feel the hurt of being misunderstood. I don't want to make myself into a robot. But what I can do is keep always being as true to myself as I can, and focusing on the relationships that are most important to me. Focus on making sure I am putting forth an intention that is true and that is clear, that I am getting to know myself better every day so that I can be the truest form of myself that I can be, and to know that even if other people don't understand that, if people are unwilling to see me for who I really am, then that is okay. And so I just want to say to you that if you are feeling misunderstood, or you are feeling like your true intentions are being twisted in some way, or if you're receiving criticisms that feel unjust, I just want you to know that I see you and I care about you, and we're all in this together. We are all in this human experience together. And so I would encourage you to do what you can to take care of yourself. Always, I think it's a great idea to connect with your body and get grounded. So you can always check out some of my videos for helping to calm your nervous system. That can be a good step. And to allow yourself the awareness and the compassion and the gentleness to know that you are doing the best you can, you are doing great, and you are a wonderful, amazing person. So here was our first tea chat video. I don't even know what exactly this was, but I am not going to apologize for it, because that's another one of my big things that I have been working on, is not apologizing for things. Not apologizing for being who I am and doing my best. So thank you for hanging out with me. I did drain almost all of my tea here. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for listening. Please share your experiences and your thoughts in the comments with me if you would like. I hope to create a space that feels safe and supportive in that way. And please let me know if there are topics or questions or ideas you would like me to explore in future tea and chat videos. So for now, take good care of yourself, rest well, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.